Hi, year 11. We're going to look at graphing absolute value functions. So the first function we're going to look at is y equals mod x. So let's do that now. Okay, so let's just change the thickness a little bit. There we go. Now, first thing we're going to look at is putting this into your function. The absolute value of -3 is 3. We're going to put -2 into that function. Absolute value of -2 is 2. Absolute value of -1 is 1, and 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to plot those points. So -3, 3, out there, -2, 2, -1, 1, then 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, then 3, 3. Okay. Now, once we do that, we're going to then draw a line through those points. So we'll grab a line. There we go. So starting from the origin, there we go. And then starting from the origin again, draw a line through the other 2 points. Okay. So just remember that what we want to do here is put arrows on the end of those lines, and we should label that is the graph of y equals absolute value of x. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. And the next one has -3 we're going to put in here. All right, so -3 goes in there. So if I do that, I get y equals minus absolute value of -3, which just works out to be -3, doesn't it? So -3. If I put absolute -2 in there, I get absolute value of -2 is 2 with a minus sign, so that's -2, then -1, 0. Here I'm going to have, putting 1 in there, I'm going to get absolute value of 1, which is negative, and then put a minus sign in front of it. Absolute value of 2 is 2, and then put a minus sign in front of it, and then -3. Okay, so what we'll do there is plot those points. So you'll have -3, 3. You're going to have -2. Oops, that's not correct there. Okay, let's drop that out. -3 is where we want to go. So -3, which is just there. Then -2, -2. -1, -1, and 0, 0. Then 1, -1, 2, -2, and then 3, -3. Okay, then get your ruler. And draw a line through those points. There we go. And there's your graph of y equals minus the absolute value of x. So let's just put arrows on the end of that. Label the graph as y equals minus the absolute value of x. Now, you notice they're in a V shape. One is pointing up and one is pointing down. The minus sign makes the second graph point down. Okay, so what can we conclude then? We can conclude that we get a V shape. The other thing to be aware of is that the corner there, we're going to call that the vertex. Okay, so this part here, whoops, there's that bit there. That part there, the corner, we call that the vertex. So where the two, basically the pointy part of the V. Okay, now that minus sign, as I said before, makes the V point down. Now, let's have a look at sketching absolute value graphs from the definition. Now, here's our definition for absolute value. Absolute value of A is equal to A when A is bigger than or equal to 0. And absolute value of A is equal to minus A when A is less than 0. So let's use that to now sketch y equals absolute value of x minus 3. Okay, now there's two cases to consider. There's the positive case and, if you like, the negative case. Now, positive case, we just we remove the absolute value symbol and just put a plus sign and then brackets around x minus 3. So y equals positive x minus 3 when x minus 3 is bigger than or equal to 0. So I've just substituted x minus 3 in there for where the a is. And we can write that as y equals x minus 3 when x is bigger than 3, because this inequality, and that should be bigger than or equal to 3. So just add that into your notes. That should be bigger than or equal to 3. Now the negative case just means we put a minus sign in front of the expression inside the absolute value. There the minus is. So y equals minus x minus 3 when x minus 3 is less than 0. So I've just got that from this line here. I've just substituted in x minus 3 for the a. Now we can expand those brackets, so we get y equals minus x plus 3, and then x minus 3 less than 0 is the same as x less than 3. So now we're going to sketch the line y equals x minus 3 for the x values which are bigger than or equal to 3, and we're going to sketch this line y equals minus x plus 3 and the x values are less than 3. So let's do that now. Now, first of all, this particular line, y equals x minus 3. Okay, we know that it's got a y-intercept equal to negative 3 just by inspection. Now for the x-intercept, you put y equals to 0, so it gives you 0 equals x minus 3, and then x is equal to 3. Okay, so for this line here, x minus 3, it's got two intercepts. And those two intercepts are at negative 3 on the y-axis here, and 3 on the x-axis. Now you're going to get your ruler and you're going to line it up. So, okay, so you're going to get your ruler and let's just line that up. So just say this pink line is your ruler. So there you go, there's your ruler. Now, you are going to draw a line along that ruler for the x values which are bigger than or equal to 3. So that means you're going to just draw a line starting from 3 and then drawing it for the values bigger than 3. Okay, so that means you will rub this bit out here. Yep, so there's half of your absolute value function. Don't forget to put arrows on the end. Now the second bit you've got to do is you've got to sketch y equals minus x plus 3 for x values which are less than 3. Okay, so straight away you look at the positive 3 and you know that the y-intercept is 3. Now to get the x-intercept, you're going to put y equal to 0. Okay, if I put y equal to 0 there, I'm going to get 0 equals minus x plus 3, and that means x must be 3 there. Okay, so I'm going to go to 3 here. I'm going to go to 3 here. These are the two intercepts. I'm going to now draw a line for the x values less than 3. Now less than 3 is over here, isn't it? Here are all the x values less than 3. So I'm going to get my line. I'm going to draw it for x values less than 3. So there's one intercept, here's the other one. So there's the other half of my absolute value function. Okay, so you have two parts to your absolute value function. You have y equals x minus 3, the 3 there, for x value is bigger than or equal to 3. And the other part of the absolute value function is y equals minus x plus 3 for x values less than 3. Okay, so there's two parts to it. All right. Now, let's have a look at a second question. We also had to state its domain and range, didn't we? So before we move on, let's have a look at this. What's the domain? Domain. Domain, well, that's going to be all real x, isn't it? All real x, or you could write it as minus infinity to infinity, because all x are possible. The range, well, you can see that the smallest value is 0 for y, so y bigger than or equal to 0, or you could write down 0 with the square brackets and then infinity with the round brackets for the range. Okay, let's do another one. We got a sketch y equals absolute value of x plus 2. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to do the positive case first. Positive case. Yep. So positive case, that means you put a positive sign in front of the absolute value expression. So you're going to have positive, take away the absolute value. Now that's for x plus 2 bigger than or equal to 0. Now, that gives me y equals x plus 2 for x bigger than or equal to minus 2. So I'm going to draw this line for x values bigger than or equal to negative 2. Now let's have a look at the negative case. So the minus case. Minus case. All right, minus case is y is equal to minus x plus 2 for x plus 2 less than 0. All right, so that gives you y equals minus x minus 2 for x values less than negative 2. So I'm going to draw this line for x values less than negative 2. So let's do that. Okay, there's my number plane down there. So let's work out some intercepts first. So for this here, I've got, let's just change colours for a minute. Now, I know that the y-intercept is 2. Right, there it is. And to get the x-intercept, I put y equal to 0. It gives me 0 equals x plus 2. So then I get x equals negative 2. Okay, so that means I'm going to sketch this line for x values bigger than or equal to negative 2. All right, so here are my two intercepts, 2 and negative 2. So let's go to 2 and negative 2, 2 for the y and negative 2 for the x. So 2 for the y and negative 2 for the x. Okay, so I'm going to sketch that line. So basically you get your ruler, you line it up, okay, and you draw a line through those points for x bigger than or equal to negative 2. So there's my first half. There we go. All right, next, come over here. And I've got to draw a second straight line, don't I? Okay, so here we go. So for this line here, I know that the y-intercept is -2. There it is, -2. So the x-intercept, I'm going to put y equal to 0. Right, therefore 0 is equal to minus x minus 2. So therefore x is equal to 2. So that x equals 2 and y equals -2 are the intercepts. So let's put that. So x equals 2. That's one of my intercepts, just here. And now I just realised, yeah, that's correct. Minus x minus 2, so it goes through, sorry, -2, yeah. So I've got to go through 2 and -2. Hang on. 2, -2 and 2 is there, that's correct. And minus x, sorry, my bad there. Just realised I made a mistake. That should be -2 just there, not +2. That's where I made the error. Okay, so I'll just change that then. All right, so here we go. So there's -2, and where's the y-intercept? Y-intercept is at -2. So here we go. So y-intercept there, x-intercept there for the second line. Now you're going to get your ruler and you're going to draw, you're going to put your ruler along these 2 points here, but be aware you are only going to draw that line if the x value is less than -2. Okay, so you're going to start from here and there's your second part of your graph there. All right, and you're going to just rub any lines that you drew there. Okay, so there's your absolute value function. All right. So don't forget also to put arrows on the graph itself. So there and there, y equals the absolute value of x plus 2. All right, so let's have a look at another one. So now how about, I had to state the domain and range of this, didn't we? So if you look at the question, it says state its domain and range. So we can do that. All right, so let's just go back to the pen tool. Here we go. It looks like the, okay, so I'll go back to the pen over here. All right, so the, oh, it's not writing. It looks like the software's a bit slow. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, here we go. Domain is, domain will be all real x, won't it? Domain is all real x. And the, or you could write it as minus infinity to infinity. The range, you can see the range will be y bigger than or equal to 0, or you could write it as 0, comma, infinity. Okay. All right, let's just delete that line there, don't need that. Okay. Now, let's have a look at another question. What about this one? Got a sketch f of x equals 1 minus mod x. Let's do that. So, first of all, do the positive case. Positive case. Well, that's going to be y equals 1 minus, if you like, we put a positive in front of the x, for x bigger than or equal to 0. So in other words, y equals 1 minus x for x bigger than or equal to 0. And do the negative case. Negative case is y equals 1 minus. Now you put a minus in front of the x for x less than 0. So that gives you y equals 1 plus x for x less than 0. Okay, so let's look at that. So here's our number plane. So let's start off with what we're going to do there. So we'll start off with sketching 1 minus x. Okay, 1 minus x. So let's do that. So we're going to sketch. So there's my working out. So y equals 1 minus x for x bigger than or equal to 0. Okay, well I know that this has got a y-intercept of 1, so I'm going to put a little dot there. And I know it's got an x-intercept of 1, so a y-intercept of 1 is there. Sorry. It's got a y-intercept and an x-intercept of 1. So y-intercept is 1, x-intercept is 1. Now, I'm going to sketch that. For x bigger than or equal to 0. Okay. Now, x bigger than or equal to 0, if you think about it, you're going to get your ruler and line it up. Okay, so you're going to line your ruler up from here, or from there if you like. There we go. So I've sketched that for x values bigger than or equal to 0. There we go. Good. And put an arrow on the end of that. Excellent. Now, the next line that you're going to sketch, if you come back up here, is y equals 1 plus x. Okay, so you're going to sketch y equals 1 plus x for x less than 0. Okay, now that's got a y-intercept of 1, and it's got an x-intercept of negative 1. Because we put negative 1 on there, you get negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So 1, negative 1, I'm going to plot that. Y-intercept of 1, there it is, and x-intercept of negative 1. And we're going to sketch that for x values less than 0. Okay, so for x values less than 0, that means you're going to be sketching it here. Okay, so there we go. So there's your second. Whoops, put a little arrow on the end. Okay, now what about the domain and range for this? Domain is all real x again, because there's no x value you're not allowed to put in. Or you could write this. And the range is y. Now it's y less than or equal to 1, or you could write down the y values are going from minus infinity to 1 inclusive. Okay. Okay, so we'll do a second video for the other part, but that's basically how to sketch the functions. So we'll leave that there for the time being.